Hey everybody, today I want to talk about two topics that have been appearing in the comments a lot lately, and I want to make sure and address them because one is about breaking up the root ball of your plants and two is about starter fertilizer. So let's start by talking about breaking up the root ball of your plants. This comes in all the time when I'm planting up annuals. People go, hey, you didn't break up the root ball of your plants. And let me just tell you something about annuals. In general, annuals, it's not really a big problem. These are short-lived plants. They tend to have not been in their pots for a really long time. And so they're plants that, as long as you put them in good soil, those roots are going to start growing outwards. Now, sometimes I might have a grass or something like that that gets really root bound. And root bound really means that there are just so many roots in there. There's no place for that plant to get any nourishment. There's no soil left. You can feel it when you squeeze the pot. It's really hard. A lot of times people see a plant, like this, and they go, oh, that plant is really root bound because they see all these roots. This isn't root bound at all. There's plenty of soil in there. And this is the Madame Salaron geranium. I think it's really pretty with the variegated leaf. Anyway, so it's not something that I really feel you need to worry about with an annual. If you are breaking up the root ball of plants, probably not causing any problems. There is some studies that indicate that you could be introducing a root disease into the root of the plant, but for the most part, I don't think the risk is pretty low, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. So if you are breaking up the root ball, that's fine, but don't worry about it if you don't. You'll notice if you watch actually like professional growers planting plants, they're usually not breaking up the root ball. The times that we do want to break up the root ball though is like plants that are going to be with us for a really long time, like trees, shrubs, some perennials. And that's because those plants over time, if they're really root bound, either those roots have swirled and they're growing into each other, and so they're not able to kind of escape the kind of root ball, or they'll start growing over each other and start choking each other out. And that's called girdling. And you'll see it even on the top of trees sometimes where one root goes over the other and then suddenly you can just see they just start choking each other. So that can be a bit of a problem. So plants that we're going to have for a long time, we want to be a little bit more observant of that. And we want to be really diligent about letting those roots flare out and grow outward because we're going to have them forever. Annuals, by the time girdling would have happened, they'd have to be around forever, and they're only around for a couple months, so not such a big deal for us. So next time you see someone not breaking up a root ball, don't panic or don't have that little bit of anxiety. And I asked myself, like, why is it that this was one of those gardening things that people are so hooked on and so fixated on that they have to actually bring it up when they see people not doing it? I think part of it is it's been passed down, so families do it, and it might be just the case where people think what's good for one plant is good for all plants, which, again, not necessarily hurting it, but it's not necessary. But the other thing is that it's very satisfying breaking up that root ball. It's kind of like when you're pulling out weeds and you pull and you get the whole root, comes out at one time. That's like a real tactile sensation that happens. And I think that's the case with working with the root ball that happens to people. So I think that's kind of what's in play there. Now I'm going to continue planting. I just have these geraniums and these begonias and this lobelia that I potted up, or that I'm going to pot up just because we have some visitors. They're arriving today. Liam's at the airport, so I wanted to get them in pots. This, unfortunately, is some of the, the shamrocks that I had planted, I think back in October. They didn't make it, although one of them looks like maybe there's something growing in it, but I don't know if it's actually the shamrocks. Could be anything. So anyway, now back to our topics at hand. The next one is starter fertilizer. And starter fertilizer is one of those things that I think you probably have seen a lot of YouTubers. They put that magic powder in the bottom of each hole that they dig. And starter fertilizer can be very helpful. It's usually just a really mild fertilizer that's designed to encourage root growth. And so if you have conditions that plants have trouble rooting, adding that starter fertilizer can be a really good addition. Now, normally we would not want fertilizer touching the roots of our plants because it can burn them. And if the roots get burnt, you'll notice it in the leaves. They start to dry up, shrivel up, change color. But the starter fertilizer is really pretty mild. So you don't usually have any burning happening with them. So that's one that it is okay to let that touch the roots. However, like I had somebody say to me, you'd have much better results if you use starter fertilizer. And I thought that's kind of a funny thing for somebody to say when they don't know my conditions, they don't know my yard, and they don't know that I have actually done some tests where in my yard I tried some plants with starter fertilizer and some without. And in my yard, I didn't really notice a difference. And so that must just mean that I have the right nutrients in my soil, that the plants grow and root just fine. Now, you might have a situation where it really is a benefit. And I don't worry about it in my containers because I know that I'm going to be fertilizing my containers every week with a water-soluble fertilizer. So they're getting fertilizer. So a starter fertilizer is not necessarily going to be a huge benefit to me. So just keep that in mind. I think there's kind of this idea that this is something that you have to do and you won't have success unless you do it. And that's not the case at all. It's pretty much one of those things where you could have you could see a difference, and depending on your conditions, I would be more concerned with my plants and my soil needing more of a long-term solution, like a long-term solution meaning adding organic matter like compost to it, that rather than just using starter fertilizer and then having to fertilize all the time. Adding compost is going to help you build better soil. So if you're looking at really having healthy soil, you're probably not going to need that starter fertilizer. But again, that's one where, because it's mild, chances are you're not doing any harm to your plant. That said, plants like echinacea and sedum and stuff like that, they don't usually like fertilizer anyway. So, you're not necessarily helping some of those plants. And actually some plants, when I think of breaking up the root ball, I'm thinking specifically of like echinacea and other plants that maybe have more of a taproot system. They don't actually like having their roots disturbed as well. So you might want to do a quick search, whatever plant you're planting, just say, does this plant not like its roots disturbed or whatever? And a lot of times Google or whatever will be able to find the answer to that pretty easily. So just putting all that out there. Also, if you're growing a lot of native plants, a lot of times native plants, they're not going to need starter fertilizer because they are actually designed to be in your native soil. Again, might not hurt them, but just something to think about. Like, the whole reason of getting your natives is that they're going to do well in your soil as it is, so you don't have to amend it and that type of thing. So I just wanted to touch on those topics because they have been coming up in the comments. People have been asking, like, hey, why don't you, or shouldn't you? And the truth is, it really depends on your situation, what plants you're growing, and what the conditions are of your soil and of your plants. So just keep that in mind. So this whole conversation comes down to the fact that just because something is common practice doesn't mean that it's best practice, doesn't mean that it's bothersome or a bad thing. Just means that a lot of people are doing it. Some people are having success. Some people don't know if they're having success or not. They just assume that it makes it more successful. And sometimes just feeling like you're doing something makes you feel like you're more successful in the garden, because there's a lot of things in the garden we don't have control over. So I think we just naturally want to do that little bit extra when we can. So yeah, what you're doing is probably fine, but maybe completely unnecessary. So just think about it.